My name is Cassy Summers. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. Welcome, welcome. Spring is upon us, or at least it is here in Canada. So I'm going to speak to where my energy is going, and this renewed sense of magic and possibility in the air. One of the things I love about spring is really that that coming out of the wintering. Winter can be very much that like cozy in, kind of like cocooning. And as we're in the chrysalis, we're doing a lot of internal work, a lot of transformation. And then spring starts to show and things start to open. The seeds of possibility are planted in the soft soil. So what seeds of possibility could you start to plant in your soil that would create the bloom this year that you always imagined was possible? That was all very metaphorical, maybe made no sense to you, but the energy is so palpable for me. It's like actually being willing to have something greater every year, something more wonderful this season than you've ever had before, but also really inviting in those creations, inviting those seeds of possibility and letting them be pushed into the soil, to be fertilized, to be watered, to be tended to. Now, for some people, that's terrifying because then it's going to grow. Then your creation will sprout, it will bloom, it will become something in the world. But what if all the internal work that you were doing through the winter, what if all those miraculous possibilities that you're aware of, how many of them are actually ready to start their actualization process? How many are actually ready to go into the earth to be tended to? And that tending to is what is essentially we call institution, right? So it's like the actions that you have to take and the energies that you have to be and the receiving that you have to be to bring something into the world. So if you looked at these glorious ideas that are maybe popping up into your little world, as seeds of possibility, which ones would you like to actually plant this spring? Which ones would you like to actually bring into the world? And would you be willing to choose that? And I mean, really choose it, not just say, oh, yeah, that would be nice one day. But what if now is the time, and maybe not for all of them, but at least a few, some of them? And a creation could be as simple as an idea for a vacation. It could be a summer party. It could be something that you've always wanted to do in your business. It could be starting a new business. It could be a million different things, a big scale, small scale, whatever it is in your world. Spring has sprung, my friend, and it's that fertile ground, it's like, oh, it just gets me so excited because in that earthy like fertility cycle, right? This soil everything has rested. Okay. Everything has rested, and all the leaves and everything from last year have actually like refertilized the ground. the snow and the rain coming is clearing and cleaning. And with all of that is the time to use that fertility as a way to actually plant those possibilities, to allow them to come in and to allow them to grow, maybe faster than you ever imagined possible. So what is it that keeps you from truly, it's so interesting because as I go into the energy of like planting that seed to actually be like, here's, okay, I would like a tree and I'm going to plant it, I would like wildflowers, I'm going to plant them. I'm going to actually, and right now you might just be kind of preparing for planting season. And your season might be off different than the seasons of the earth. I'm not saying that it has to be in perfect harmony, but I sense for myself that I tend to be very in harmony with the area of the world that I live in. And when spring starts to open, I start to open. I start to be ready for, okay, what next? What next? But that planting a seed for some might have a sense of committing to something and actually being willing to receive that something that you're committing to. So if you've had this dream of, I've always wanted to do this thing, and now here I am of like, oh, why don't you plant the seed to actually actualize the thing that you've always wanted? A lot of us go into fear. A lot of us go into resistance. A lot of us completely avoid the things that would bloom for us, that would actualize for us. It could even be I was going to say simple, although some people don't see it simple, as asking for more money and planting the seed of possibility for wealth in your universe and then tending to it. Because as we plant in our garden requires fertilizer, our garden requires sunshine, it requires water, it requires these things to create harvest for us, right? So that's with all your creations. They require your energy. They require your space of being. And some of them require instituting, taking some action, some more action and some less action. But what if it was all part of the joy of cultivating your garden of possibility? Would you be willing to have that? So what does come up for you? Is it fear? Have you been checking out this whole conversation and being like, what is she talking about? Are you willing to have the things that you say that you've been asking for? Are you actually willing to have them grow and actualize in your world? You say you want, fresh carrots, but you're not planting the seeds for the fresh carrots. And then you're frustrated that they're never showing up. Or you say you would love to, grow some apples, but you keep killing your apple tree. What would you truly desire? And would you be willing to open to receiving it? And that might be a whole nother conversation that we need to go in, because receiving is interesting on this planet. But we're not even there yet. We're just planting the seed. We're just going, yeah, I am going to have an extraordinary life, a phenomenal life in living. And these are some of the elements of that life and living that I would like to have. So now let's just energetically plant your garden. Like, let's do it right now. Let's do it together. It'll be like easy and really fun, okay? So you have your beautiful garden and you've tilled it and it's ready to go. It's got this, fertile earth, and it's just like so much vibrancy and harmony. It's so beautiful. And now you're going to plant in that garden, what are some of the things that you would like to have in the next year or so? Would you like, some things take longer because like if you're going to plant a tree, I planted an acorn tree last year and it's so cute. It's like this big. It's going to take a bit. Um, what would you like to plant? What would you actually like to plant? What would you like to have in your garden? And the garden is your life. Okay. So are you actually desiring wealth? Are you actually desiring riches? Are you truly desiring freedom? More choices? Are you truly desiring, the joy of embodiment? Are you truly desiring a thriving business? Are you desiring more travel? Would you like more sex in your life? Would you like more enjoyable people in your life? Would you like friendships? Would you like to change some of the relationships that you have? These are all things that you put into your garden with the awareness that if you desire it to grow, you're gonna have to tend to that garden. And again, some things are going to require more energy and attention than other things. And it might flow. So in the beginning, a relationship might require a lot of tending to. And then it has like a potency to it. It has a flow to it. And then the energy could shift onto something else, but you can't completely pull out of that relationship. Because if you suddenly took away all the sun and all the soil and all the water, then that plant won't grow and won't thrive anyways. But you can shift your attention over here and tend to this, and then come back and come back. I had someone once acknowledging me. They're like, you kind of flitter around. I'm like, yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm like a little bee and I'm just going around and pollinating. And I always look at my life from the whole oversea. And I'm like, okay, what requires my attention today? So this is a great question you can ask, and I'll ask this for my business, but I also ask this for my life. Like, what requires my attention today? And sometimes it's like, you know what? Body actually requires a lot more attention today than it did yesterday. And then I just gift it to my body. And sometimes I'll get, whoa, the earth is like really asking for a lot more energy and presence from me today. And I will tend to that. Sometimes it's my kids. Sometimes it's just fun, just moments and experiences of joy and fun and chaos. So what requires my attention today is my way of being the nurturer to my garden of living and really tending to those things that I desire to grow, because I'm always asking for my life to get greater. I'm asking for it to grow. Some people are looking to maintain their life. Some people are looking to structure their life. And that can be pretty hard for a humanoid to maintain a garden rather than to nurture our garden to continuously grow. Yeah. So it's very different energy than maintaining than to nurture something to grow. You get those two different energies. So everywhere that you misidentified and misapplied maintenance as maintaining and as the structure of maintaining rather than nurturing as that which is required to have something grow, will you just reign and create it, please? Everything that is right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pod, all nine shorts, boys, puppets, beyonds. That is the Access Conscious Clearing Statement. If you're new to the show and you've never heard that before, please go to theclearingstatement.com. I always put a link below. You can get more information on that. But today we're just using it as our magic wand to clear energies. That's essentially what it does. Clears out energies. We bring it up, we clear it out. It's awesome. So what could you actually clear out from your garden? Maybe you need to do some weeding. Like, oh, this friendship is really toxic. Get rid of that. Oh, this thing that I keep choosing with my body, like judging it, is really terrible and creating some mold over here. Okay, we're gonna get that out. We're gonna clean this out. What if you actually cleared out your garden and really cleaned out that space and then you start to introduce these new energies, these new possibilities. And that's what I mean by growth. It's like, what new could you add to your life right now? What could you add to your life that is brand new, that you haven't even ever explored before, so that you can have that spring in your step? You can have that reignition of joy and possibility in your life. What if now is the time to actually add new possibilities that you have been maybe putting off or didn't know how to do it, so you weren't gonna try? You don't have to figure out how. You just have to invite it in, and the universe is going to handle all of that. You don't need to tell the tree how to grow or tell the flower how to do photosynthesis. Like, you don't need to tell it any of that. You just have to tend to it. It asks for water, you give it water. It asks for sunshine, you give it sunshine. It asks for shade, you give it shade. You don't have to know how the flower grows for it to grow. You can learn it because you're interested in it, but you don't need to know how for the flower to do its job. You don't need to know how the universe is going to deliver possibilities for it to do its job. It's just going to do it. All right. So you can just let that go, give that up. Allow the universe the space it requires to deliver it in really magical, miraculous ways. And then you do your part. You tend, you be aware, you ask questions, you take the action that you sense, that you know is required to actualize these possibilities. So what could you add? What could you add? More? How much are you willing to add to your life so that your life actually becomes a movement of creative chaos rather than stagnation of maintenance and structure and order? Right, wrong, good, bad, talk about all day, shorts, boys, pobats, and beyonds. This will increase so many things in your life, even though you're still might be going, what am I even talking about? But you're receiving all of this on a very energetic level. This is a very energetic episode we're doing. And allowing it in and not trying to figure it out, but being willing to invite those possibilities, just say yes, open to receiving them. That is the seed. Okay. Open to receiving these possibilities. That is the seed. And allowing as many as you're willing. Willing as many as you're willing. Let's see if we could say that in a better way. What if you were willing to allow more than you've ever been willing to before? What if what if the universe will never give you more than you can handle? Now there's the difference between, saying yes to a bunch of stuff that isn't congruent and isn't a contribution to you. That's a whole different story. That's where you need to actually be a little bit more aware of honoring yourself. But true possibilities that are congruent with you will always be honoring. It doesn't mean that there won't be moments of hard work or moments of like showing up when you don't feel like showing up for those possibilities, but then you're always grateful that you did. But truly allowing the chaos of possibility into your world might just be the gift of spring that you could be choosing. Anything that is not that, we destroy it and create it, please. Right, wrong, give out, talk about all nature, it's boys, foes, yeah. When I mean gift of spring, I mean that like awakening, that joy, that like sense of, oh, what is possible? What is possible? The world has been avoiding living for a very long time, probably since 2020. Like, really, it's a lot of fear, a lot of stuff has occurred. We all know. What if you can have the joy even more than ever before? And maybe you actually fared pretty well through all of this, and I hope you did. And do you sense that right now there's an opening? There's a magic that you could be inviting into your world inviting into your garden of living, even if it's not what you thought it might be, even if it doesn't look like anything that you expected. What if you just said yes to the possibilities that matched the garden that you'd like to create? And then tend to those possibilities so that they actually actualize for you. Because anything is possible. I know it. I know it with every space of my being, with every molecule of my body. Anything is possible. Like anything is possible. And anything is possible for you if you're willing to have it. And if you're willing to be the beautiful gardener of possibility that you truly are. Thank you for exploring this very energetic topic with me. I love where we can go on these podcasts. I'm so grateful for you. And please help me get this out into the world. Help me spread the seeds of this possibility, this podcast possibility with your friends, with your family, with anyone that lights you up to share it with. I thank you again, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you for exploring the curious universe with me. Your curiosity matters. And what if together we could create a greater, more curious world?